What is up, guys? Welcome to Kicking It with Kimbo. My name is Kimberly, aka Kimbo, and this is my channel. So today's video is obviously going to be about To All the Boys, P.S. I Love You. I don't know about you guys, but the first movie I really did love, so I was super excited for the second movie to come out, and I think there's going to be a part 3 as well. But if you haven't watched the movie, don't watch this video because I'm going to be doing like a lot of bloopers. So right off the bat, Lara Jean and Peter are going on their first date, and honestly, one of my first thoughts was like, wow, this restaurant is super fancy. Like, what kind of part-time job does Peter have? But anyways, another thing that I also thought was kind of weird was Lara Jean, out of nowhere, she goes, "This is my first date. I hope I'm a good girlfriend." And I was like, who the fuck says that on a first date? That's so weird. I would have been sitting across the table like, okay. So then we get to the part where John Ambrose finally shows up at the retirement home, and honestly, my first thought was, okay, John Ambrose, he kind of cute. He's not usually my type, like those kind of guys, but I was like, okay, hello. So finally we get to Valentine's Day, and that's when the choir goes to all of the classrooms and they start singing to people or whatever. What irritated me about this part is that Lara Jean got mad at Peter for not getting them to come to all of her classrooms like he did for Jen the previous year. But she got mad when Jen was like, Peter already took me to that restaurant. And I'm just like, do you want him to do the same things that he did with his ex-girlfriend? Or do you want him to be original with you? Pick something. Like, that just really got on my nerves that she was upset about the singing thing when he had already did that for Jen. Like, don't you want him to do something new? But you got upset when he took you to that same restaurant. So what do you want? Do you want him to do the same things? Or do you want him to do something different? So we get about halfway through the movie and I feel like no real conflict has happened. Nothing to get me to be like, ooh, that happened, oh my god. It was really just not that much. So I feel like the first half was low-key kind of pointless, but finally we get to the part where John Ambrose and Lara Jean are talking in the basement of their retirement home, and she has 2 opportunities to tell him that she has a boyfriend, she's in a relationship with Peter, and she doesn't do it. What are you searching for? Like, you have a man, stop it. So then finally they get to the tree house and they open up the time capsule, and it's so awkward. I do agree with Peter because he mentioned that it looks wrong for Lara Jean to show up with John Ambrose and he's bringing the pizza. Like, now you're hosting this event with somebody that's not your boyfriend. If I was Peter, I would have been looking around like, too. Like, it was so awkward. And then when they got inside of the treehouse, it really pissed me off when Jen was making comments like, remember Peter when you kissed me that day? And everybody's literally in the treehouse like, what the fuck, you know? And then John Ambrose is flirting a little bit, and then finally Peter is like, I'm gonna help my girlfriend so you can go. And I was like, yes, Peter, claim your girl, like, that's your woman. Then for Peter's game, Lara Jean sees the picture of Peter and Jen like embracing each other or whatever, and when I saw that, I honestly thought that was too much. Like, the way that they were embracing each other was kind of weird. Like, I don't know, it was a weird hug thing and I didn't like it. So if I was her, I would have been like, what the fuck is this too? You know, so that little argument and that breakup, I felt like that was a petty breakup and they shouldn't have done that in that moment. Like, that's just not the biggest, that's not a deal breaker type thing in my opinion. Lara Jean also found out that Peter was not actually down in the hot tub waiting for her, he was waiting for Jen. But the thing that pissed me off about that is because Lara Jean was like, if Jen would have been down there, you would have been with her right now and not me. Okay, but that didn't happen. He's with you right now. Think about the reality about what's going on in real life. So after they break up, she goes back to school, she's wearing the necklace, and then out of nowhere, am I the only person that caught this? But there's a random like music section, and I'm like, did this just turn into a fucking musical? But she's like singing the song with the necklace in her hands, and I was like, what is happening? But that was just kind of extra for me. So finally we make it to the end where it's the ball scene and she meets up with John Ambrose there. They're volunteering, having a great time and everything like that, and that's cool. And then they end up kissing, and in that moment she realizes that it's Peter, you know, and I'm just like, I could have told you that. And then Peter shows up at the end, they make up, blah blah blah. Overall, I think the movie was okay compared to the first one. I wasn't super, ooh, I love this, because after the first movie, my attitude towards it was like so different. I was like, this movie is so great, but with this one, it was definitely different. I enjoyed it, but if I had to give this movie a rating out of 5 stars, I would give it a 2.5, to be honest. It wasn't as iconic as the first one. But I'm really happy that the dad ended up with somebody. I really wanted him to be with someone because I was like, oh, he needs some love too. But I'm excited. I mean, there should be a part 3, and I'm still interested in seeing that. So I'm going to watch whatever part 3 happens. But all in all, I think that Lara Jean and Peter are really cute together. He is so romantic with her. I mean, he's obviously made some really stupid boy mistakes. I felt like they made Peter look kind of like a bad guy in a lot of this. They made him look like, oh my God, he's not really that much of a great guy because he didn't actually make up that poem. He took her somewhere that he took Jen and all this kind of stuff. He embraced her. So I felt like they really made him kind of look like the bad guy, and Lara Jean is just this confused girl who has options. And I'm just like, well, damn. If you guys want me to watch anything else on Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, let me know. I will review it. I will give my best thoughts on it. Just let me know whatever it is. If there's anything else that you guys want me to talk about that isn't movie related or TV related, just let me know and I will make a video on it. So like, share, subscribe, tell your families, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell everybody. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be coming out with more, just bear with me. But I really hope you guys liked today's video, and I will see you next week.